Hi everyone, waiting for you guys to join so we can start. This is Chevening interview preparatory live session. So come in with your questions, share with your friends because I'm going to be answering all your questions, okay? Introduce yourself in the comment section. I'm going to be seeing it. Let me know where you are joining from. Let me know what your name is. Let me know what country you are. What time is your interview? And when is your interview? Okay? I'm waiting and I'm going to be taking all your questions. So send in your questions, okay? I'm going to take as they come. I'm doing this session because a lot of people have reached out to me. Oh, Couscous, I want to do a mock interview. But as you know, I'm not going to be able to do mock interview for just everybody. It's not going to be possible. So I have decided to do this live session so that everybody can benefit, okay? So please let me see in the chat box, what is your name? Where are you joining from? Which country? I am in Nigeria and it is 12 o'clock here. Which country are you joining from? And what is the time there? When is your interview? Is your interview virtual? Is it physical? Arnold Banda joined from where? I don't recognize this flag. I'm sorry. Please write it out. Your interview is on the 9th of March. Okay, 9th of March is on Thursday. Oh, that's Malawi. I actually thought as much, but I didn't want to get it wrong. Okay, Arnold's interview is on 9th. That's on Thursday this week. I hope you have done a couple of mock interviews. I hope you have recited your answers to yourself in front of the mirror over and over again so that you can get conversant with what you have to say and not during the interview you'll be using filler words like that does not send that sends a wrong message to the panelists. Like, this is, you're not owning your story. This is not your story. If this is your story, you should be able to be very fluent with it. Otherwise, why are you saying and all of that? Gloria is joining from Kenya. It is 2 p.m. in Kenya. Your interview is 9th March 2023. That's on Thursday as well. What time is your interview? Let me know. I think some people feel like maybe if your interview is in the morning, you feel like, oh, I would have most of the attention of the panelists and they will listen more. But if your interview is in the afternoon, you feel like, maybe they are tired of listening to people. They just want to go home. But it's not the case actually, because you don't know what session will favor you. So just pray to your God, do your own preparation and pray. Is it only Gloria and Arnold that is in this session? Gloria, your interview is 12 p.m. Okay, 12 p.m. is a very good time. I'm sure it will be between 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maximum 1 hour. Guys, let me know, what is your name? Where are you joining from? I see a lot of you have joined, but you're not communicating. See, this live session is not for me, it's for you. I'm here to answer all your questions. All the people that wanted mock interviews with me, I don't have the time to take everyone for mock interview. So send in your questions. What are your concerns? What are you afraid of? Do you have anxiety? If yes, why? Is your anxiety because you feel like you're not well prepared? If it is so, then start getting prepared. Okay? Is your anxiety because you feel like you're not fluent in your story? If it is so, then begin, speak to yourself in the mirror. First of all, start by writing down your thoughts, all the things you think you want to say, because when you're done writing them down, you can be able to now strike out the things that you feel like are not important. Every point that is just a time waster, you just strike it out and focus on the most important points, because of course you don't have the entire day for the interview. You only have maximum 45 minutes to 1 hour, and you have to be able to convince all the panelists within that time. What does that mean? That means that you have to give in your best. You have to bring your best foot forward. Okay. So this session is not going to be too long. Maximum is going to be 1 hour. This is 12:06 already. I'm waiting for your questions, comments, whatever you want me to address. Bring it on. I'm here. Okay, just type it in the chat box. Actually, there is an option to join this live. Let me know if you want to join. I can probably paste the link on the chat box and then you can join the live. Then we can talk about. Maybe I should just do that. I would paste the link to the live in the chat so that if you want to join, you can request to join, just in case you prefer to speak. Please, if you're joining, make sure your internet is good. So I am pasting the link to the live stream. I have pasted it on the chat box. If you want to join this live, just click that link and I would admit you into the session as a guest. Okay? Does that work for you all? Okay. Just to ensure that you can join if you want to. So Arnold says, okay, Arnold, your interview is by 11 a.m. to 11:45 and it is in person. Okay, that's still a very good time. You know, when your interview is in the morning, all your panelists are very alert. So, and at that point, they have all the energy. So you too, you have to go with energy. Irania says, I am Irania Sevio, join in from Uganda. Interview is 29 March. Oh, you have time at 9 a.m. and it's 2 p.m. in Uganda. So Kenya and Uganda share the same time zone. Okay, so Nigeria is 2 hours behind you guys. I have pasted the link to this live stream in the chat. If you want to join and you want to ask your question in person, just copy this link, paste on your browser, your Chrome browser, not Safari. I don't think Safari supports it. Your Chrome browser or your Google browser, Firefox, and all of that. Paste it there, and you can be able to join me. I'm still waiting for your questions. Like I said, all the things you would like to know about Chevening interview, I want to believe that I have addressed it on the channel. So if you now want me to answer your question, this is the session for you because I cannot start repeating all the things I've already shared on the channel. If you go to the Chevening playlist, you will see all the necessary questions. I've shared all my interview questions on my YouTube channel. Okay, questions like, let us get to meet you. Of course, that's definitely going to be the first question. Why do you want Chevening scholarship? Why did you apply for this scholarship? You know, why did you select the university that you selected, and how does it align with your previous academic experience and future career goals? Okay. And then questions like, can you give us your short and long term career plans? Questions like, what are the challenges in your field? Questions like, why did you choose to study in the UK? Because even if you identify challenges in your field, you can get that knowledge in any part of the world other than UK to solve the challenges, right? Why did you choose UK? I've answered all those questions in the chat box. I've answered all those questions on my channel already. And I expect that you guys have watched the videos that I addressed those questions. But if you have any further question, this is the time for you to bring it in. Arnold says, why are you the ideal candidate for Chevening? Whenever they ask you a question like this, they are not asking you to tell them about yourself. Oh. Let me take some water. When you are in an interview, any interview at all, whether it's scholarship or job, and they ask you, why do you want to join this organization? Or why do you think you are the ideal candidate to be hired? Why do you think we should give you, why are you the ideal candidate for Chevening scholarship? Yes, it is a way of you telling them about yourself and your skills. But the ideal way to answer that question is to make sure that whatever you tell them aligns with their vision, aligns with their person specification. What do I mean? We're going to stick with Chevening. What kind of person does Chevening want? Chevening wants a leader. Chevening wants somebody who has been showing impact in their field. Chevening wants somebody who has been impacting and influencing other people's decisions, whether small, whether in a small community, in a small room, or in a larger kind of environment, in a larger platform. What kind of person does Chevening want? Chevening wants somebody who is able to network. Chevening wants somebody who is able to leverage on their network for a positive outcome. What kind of person does Chimney want? Chimney wants somebody who is able to identify the challenges in their field and knows how to resolve them and just needs the knowledge gap that master's degree is going to give that person. Chimney wants somebody who has an ideal career plan, an identified career plan. You get a short-term and long-term career plan. So whenever they ask you that kind of question, why are you the ideal candidate for Chevening? Your answer should show that you meet all the Chevening requirements, and not just saying, oh, I'm the ideal candidate for Chevening scholarship because I believe that I'm a great leader. I have been able to influence people in my field. I know how to network. I have clear-cut career plans. No, you are just regurgitating the requirements. They want you to show them with examples, right? Let me know. So the way this live session is going to work, you know that most of the live session on this channel, I have had guests, and I have also pasted the link to this stream, to this live in the chat. If you want to join this live stream, copy that link, paste on your browser, and come in as a guest. Now, if Chevening is asking you why are you the ideal candidate for this scholarship, don't go and start telling them, yes, I believe that I'm ideal candidate because I am a leader, I know how to network, I have clear-cut career plans. You are going to be saying the same thing, but you are going to be using examples. Okay? I believe that I am an ideal candidate for Chevening scholarship because I meet all the eligibility criteria. For example, as a leader in my field, I was able to do A, B, and C. Of course, you're going to start with the problems. You're going to use the STAR approach, going to identify the problems, the task, you took the actions, and the result, right? So you're going to use examples. So in order to show that you have leadership capacity, you're going to use leadership examples that you have done. In order to show that you meet the Chevening eligibility requirements or Chevening networking requirements, you have to use examples. Okay? Anon, let me know if I have answered that question. Um, if you're just joining the session, we have been live for like 13 minutes now. So when you join, just introduce yourself in the comment section. What is your name? What country are you joining from? What is your interview date and time? Do you know the names of your panelists? I don't know, because during my interview, it was virtual. So I had the opportunity to, in the Teams invite for the interview, I saw other invitees that were my panelists. So I had the opportunity to do a little of Googling. I saw that one of the people was in my field, dispute resolution. So I should not go and misyan. If I go and say what is not, the person in my field will know. And then another person was a Chevening alumni. Another person was a member of the British High Commission. So let me know. This chat box is very slow. Arnold says, yes, you have answered it. Great. Is it only Arnold that is in this chat box? I will end this live. If you don't want it, I will end because my eyes are very sleepy. I've not slept well, if you can see. So if you guys are not really interested in the live, I can as well just go sleep. But I don't want to see emails like, Kuskus, come and give me mock interview because I am not available. Except you want to pay me. If you want to pay me, I'll stay up at night to do mock interview for you. But if you're not gonna pay me, listen to this live now. Ask me all your questions now because when I go away, you're not gonna see me again. My name is Mshimiramana. Oh my God, I hope I not slaughter that name. Janine. Oh wow. from Burundi. My interview is scheduled on 29 March 2023 at 9 a.m. Burundian time. Wow. Because a lot of people that reached out to me said, because my interview is on 8 March, because my interview is on 9 March. I said some people have interview on 6 as well. I was like, I need to do this live today to help all those people. For all of you that your interview is 29 March, you are just bawling because you have all the time in the world to prepare. Depends on how it goes. I may have to do another live maybe sometime later for all the people that their interview is later in the month, but I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm not giving any guarantees because creating content to post every Friday and now having to schedule live interviews or live mock interviews for people is not easy. Okay, so I decided to do this so that all of you can bring your questions and you can be able to get your answer. So Janine from Burundi, what is your course specialty? What area are you specializing in? Which school are you guys going? I know that Arnold is selected Manchester, Edinburgh, and Oxford. I know Arnold. So, which universities did you guys select, and what is really your first choice? Also, have you guys gotten your unconditional offers yet? I want to believe that all of you by now should have gotten at least one conditional offer. So, what about unconditional offer? Have you gotten it? Arnold says, what do you want to get from the UK British values? What do you want to gain? Okay, what do you want to gain from UK British values? Well, the thing is, usually that kind of question they may not ask you directly. They would just probably say, why do you that kind of question will come in when they ask you, why do you choose the UK? Okay, why the UK? Why did you decide to study in the UK? Why not other country? Why not your country? Why not the US? Why not Canada? So if you decide to study in US, if you decide to study in UK, you have to tell them why. And maybe sometimes another way that question can come in is maybe they'll ask you something like, how do you intend to integrate with the British culture when you go over there? Maybe that's a way that kind of question might come in. So but Anna's question says, what do you want to gain from the UK British values? So whatever you answer, it should align with your career plans, the skills that you want to learn. For instance, if I am in a field of climate change and I know that I want to solve the problem of, maybe gas emission in my country, environmental pollution, and then I want to go to the UK to study to get knowledge so that I can come back and solve this problem. If anybody's asking me questions like what do I want to gain from the British culture and values, I'm gonna say the things that the British cult that the things that either the UK government is doing around my field or the lifestyle in the UK that promotes environmental or that promotes sustainability, right? Environmental sustainability. For instance, if you go to the UK, most grocery stores would give you paper bags as their packing bags, grocery bags, paper bags, okay? And if you want to buy a polythene bag, you have to pay. If you want to get a polythene bag, you have to pay, but you will get paper bags for free. That's a way of promoting, sustainability, recycling, being able to recycle already used materials, and that's a good value, right? So you can draw inspiration from there. You want to know how it is possible that all the big stores in the UK are able to adopt this policy of using paper bags so that they will be able to control the environmental pollution that is going around in the environment. What are the incentives that the government is giving for people to be able to adopt these policies? These are values. Values need not be things that were practiced in the ancient days or things that have been existing for the past 100 years. Values are things that are being imbibed every day for the betterment of the society, or things that the society is being known for. The fact that, the British culture is very polite. If you go there, you see that people are really polite, people are nice. They don't need to know you, they don't need to know you, you don't need to do anything for them, but you will not really see people outrightly being rude to you. People are polite, they have very good customer service. So depending on your industry, you would pick and choose what kind of values you want to highlight for your panelists. if that question ever comes in. And let's even imagine that question does not come in. It's a good place for you to bring in when they ask you a question like, why do you want to study in the UK? Why did you select the courses you selected? And why did you choose to study them in the UK? You can bring in this kind of examples to show that, oh, I'm not just I'm going to get the knowledge from classrooms. I'm also going to study the environment, see what is happening, see what is working, so that I can take it back home to implement. I hope I have answered that question. See, for the past 20 minutes, I've been answering Arnold's question. You guys, Arnold is shining on this live. You better bring in your question. Okay, let's move. Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm from Botswana. My interview is this month. Hi Lisa. How is Botswana weather today? You're nervous but excited. I like that. Okay, you have to be excited because being invited for interview alone. Do you know how many people applied? Over 60,000 people. And you were shortlisted for interview. It means your essay was one of the best. It means your essay was in the 1%. Trust me, your essay was in the 1%. So you did great. So you should be excited. My question is it advisable to include new information that wasn't in your essay? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because they already read your essay. They already know what you said in your essay. Give us new gists. You know what gist is? Gist is like new information, updates. Keep us up to date with what you're doing. For instance, you submitted this application 6 months ago, Abby. Shape it up to 6 months. Okay, it's not 6 months. You submitted this application in November, December, January, February. This is March, 4 months ago. Okay. Has anything changed from the time you submitted this application till now? What has changed? For instance, I say, oh, I cut maybe if I was trying to demonstrate my networking skills that, oh, I went for this conference and I got in contact with this person, I initiated a conversation in my area and we started this project. Maybe that's what you said in your essay, right? And you're selected for interview. In fact, when they're asking you to now give them examples of how you have demonstrated networking skills, you can say things like, oh, I remember in my essay I mentioned that I started a project with this person that I networked with at a conference. In fact, that project has now gotten to almost completion stage. We have now recruited so and so people, or we have now impacted so and so people. Maybe if at the time of writing your essay, the results were not yet out, maybe the impact was not yet obvious for the project. But now during interview, you have been able to do impact evaluation and you have seen how impactful that project is. Or somebody you recommended for a job got the job, and 4 months later, you are getting really good feedback from the person's job. That kind of thing. Give us updates. It shows that you are not just sitting down doing nothing. You are constantly improving yourself. You're constantly going ahead with what you said you were going to do, and you're not waiting for anybody to push you before you do it. So, yes, give them new information, give them new examples, give them new updates. Always try to link it to your essay. Oh, for instance, in my essay, I had mentioned this, but I'm going to share this new example that recently happened. You get something like that. They'll be like, oh, this girl, she has so many examples, so many experiences. I love to hear from her. Because you know how it is, repeating all the examples in your essay, it can be boring. We've read this essay, so don't come and be telling us the same thing. Fine, what you said in the essay brought you to the interview, but we are not sure if that is going to take you to the final level. So give them new juice. Lisa, I hope I have answered that question. My name is Happiness from, is this Malawi or Kenya? I cannot recognize most of these flags, but it looks like Malawi flag. Oh. Happiness, where are you from? My interview is on the 15th. Okay. Janine is in law. I have chosen Sussex, Brunel, and Essex, International Human Rights Law. Oh, wow. That's really nice. Okay. So Sussex, Brunel, and Essex. Okay. None of these universities is in London. Abby, is Brunel University in London? I'm not sure. Okay, I wish you guys all the best. I have already a conditional offer from Sussex and Brunel. That's very good. when you're being asked about why did you choose this university, why did you choose this course, it is a good time for you to tell them that, oh wow, I selected University of Sussex for international human rights law. I also selected University of Essex and the Brunel University to study international human rights law. In fact, I've already received a conditional offer from two of these universities, and I really love the university because if you check the course content, it really aligns with my passion. You know, international human rights law can be very broad, but my focus is maybe migration. My focus is student mobility. My focus is human rights violation. And I can identify that in this particular university, in fact, they have a course that directly addresses my focal point. Okay. And that's why I decided to select the university. Then, you know, that's you, there's no hard and fast rule about these things. Just be very flexible and try to give unique answers, okay? Answers that you know that is coming from deep within inside of you, is coming from your passion, okay? You cannot, they cannot ask you, so why did you choose to study the course international human rights law and you selected University of Sussex, and you start saying things that every other person will say. Maybe they say the person that's studying, that selected medicine to study in Sussex says the same thing. Person that selected development studies to study in Sussex says the same thing, and the person that selected human rights comes to say the same thing. No, now, where is the creativity? You guys are not owning your individual stories. You selected Sussex because of, first of all, your course is different, international human rights law. Secondly, maybe you opened up the course content because it's not only Sussex and Brunel and Essex that offer international human rights law. Why did you choose them? Why did you forgo other universities and decide that, okay, this is the one I want? In fact, that your first choice, even after selecting the three, you still decided that this particular university is my first choice. Why? It has to be something personal. It has to be something unique. That's what they want to hear. Stop telling them that UK has a good education system. They know. That's why they want you guys to come and study there. Stop telling them that for people that are studying development studies at University of Sussex, it is a good time to say that University of Sussex is the number one university in UK for development studies. You can start from there because everybody that's going to select development is going to say that. But when you're done saying that, bring it down to you, narrow it down to yourself. Okay, let's make it like a triangle. You start with the broad and then you narrow it all the way down to why you in particular. Was it that you like this particular professor who is teaching this particular course? Is it that you identified a project the university is carrying out and you see that, wow, this project, imagine I'm on board with this project, I would learn so much that I will go back to apply. So you see, make it personal, okay? So that when they listen to you, they'll see that, okay, this one actually has a personal reason. This one owns her story, his or her story, and is not just following the bandwagon. Great. I'm loving how interactive the comment is getting now. Okay, I have answered Lisa. Oh, Lisa says, I have an unconditional offer from Manchester. That is good. Congratulations. That is a good time to tell your panelists that if you select me, I will not have to go and start running around looking for unconditional offer or meeting deadline. I already have my unconditional offer. You see, I am proactive because I know some people that actually wait until they get shortlisted for interview and they get their unconditional selection. They get their Chevening conditional award selection and then they start going to look for unconditional offer. You are proactive. You are a leader. These are leadership skills, being proactive, being innovative, making sure that I am prepared before you meet me. When opportunity meets preparation, you know what they say. Okay. Gloria says, first choice is Sussex. You have unconditional offer already. Wow, you guys are amazing. Second choice, Cardiff. Cardiff rejected you. They don't know who you are. Third choice, Westminster Conditional International Relations. Nice, nice, nice. These are really nice universities. Don't mind that Cardiff. They're in Wales. I beg. If they don't want you, two other universities want you. They don't know that they're about to lose a potential Chevening scholar. It's their loss. Okay, Irania says, what do you think about the UK's pop culture? I don't know if they're going to ask a question like that, but if they ever do, If you like pop, you say you like it. If you don't, what are the areas you don't like? But I want to believe that if you're applying for Chevening scholarship to go and study in the UK, you are indirectly saying, I love this place. I love this institution. I love this country. I love their culture. So even if there is a part that you don't like, you still have to balance it. Okay. Balance is key. You say the part that you don't, you say, start with the part that you like and the part that you think, oh, maybe you don't just really align with it, and maybe the part that you don't understand, you're like, in fact, I'm actually going there to go and see exactly for myself what is happening in this area. I want to know exactly how it is done in the UK. I want to know how it is different from my country, and I want to see any place that there can be a bridge where, both cultures can come together in your field, of course. Iraya says, why do you need a master's degree? You're the one that should tell me. But I want to believe that if you've been shortlisted for Chevening interview, you answered that number 3 question very well. That number 3 question that they said, why did you select the course you did, and how does it align with your previous academic experience and career plans? Okay, I want to think that you answered that question very well. That's why you were shortlisted. So you're still going to toe that same line in your interview, but you're going to expatiate. You're going to focus more on the problems that you've identified in your field and why you think getting a master's degree will solve that problem. Getting a master's degree is just a platform for you to gather all the knowledge and skills that you need to be able to solve the problem that you have identified. Okay, so there are a lot of ways you can answer that question. Answer it by identifying the challenges in your area and identifying the knowledge gap in your area. Mention how the courses you're going to take in your university is going to bridge that knowledge gap, and now explain how you're going to now apply that knowledge when you come back to your country. So yeah, let me know in the comment section if I'm answering your questions, if your questions are being clarified, so that I know that we are making progress. Okay. Gloria says, if you are to add new information, isn't it safe to inform the panel that you would like to give a new example that isn't in the essay? Gloria, I already said something like this. I said that you should always make reference to your essay. For instance, you want to give an example. I said, let's say you had mentioned a project in your essay and you want to supply new information still on that project or even something different. You can start by saying, I know that in my essay I mentioned this particular project, and actually, after I submitted my essay, this particular project has moved forward and we have achieved this particular goal. We have impacted this particular number of people. That's like giving an update on the project. And if you're giving an example that is completely not in the essay, you could say something like, I gave like 3 different examples in my essay, but I have new ones that I would like to share, just because I want to give new examples to show that you are continuously in this leadership practice. Leadership is not a one-day thing for you. Leadership is your lifestyle. Networking is your lifestyle. So you always have examples to give. Okay? That's what I mean. If you decide to stick to the examples in the essay, I don't think it's a problem, but I think it's just good that you introduce at least 1 or 2 new information to make it interesting. If I already see it's like saying you're applying for a job. I saw your CV and I shortlisted you for the job interview. It means that I am okay with all the things you said on your CV. If I now ask you, and you now come for the interview and I'll say, can I get to meet you? And you start telling me everything on your CV again. You think I cannot read? I can read. I saw it. That's why I invited you. I invited you not because I wanted you to come and tell me everything in your CV. I want you to come and own the story in your CV and to tell me more. Okay. For instance, you said, oh, in your CV, you have analytical skills, you have these skills. Now, when I invite you to the interview, you're coming to give me examples of how you are able to demonstrate those skills. Because, of course, you can't say everything in your CV. Your Chevening essay was just 500 words. What can you say with 500 words with a real life experience? So you were giving them a tip of the iceberg. For all you care, it was just a tip of the iceberg. So when they invite you for interview, they're like, come to us and tell us more.
We like this story, we want to hear more. So you cannot just go and start restricting yourself to the 500 words that you gave again. No, now, come on. Come on, Gloria. I hope you get my point. You get my point? You just have to give them more. It's like this is the tip of the iceberg. There is more from where this came from. So now the interview is I'm coming to give you more. You guys are making me talk too much. Okay, let's move on. Gloria, let me know if you understand what I mean. Munira says, hi, I have an unconditional offer from QMU to study global public policy and global public health and policy. You guys know that I have a bias for QMU because that is my alma mater. Congratulations, Munira. Getting an unconditional offer from QMUL is not beans. So, yes, congratulations. Make sure you flaunt it at your panelist face that you guys, I actually do have an unconditional offer from Queen Mary University. So you see, I'm ready to go. So that's a very good thing. Congratulations. Irania says, how have you used an international network for a social cause? Wow, this is a very, very sweet question. And anybody should be able to answer this question. Like, if you have done this, you should be able to answer that question. You should be able to answer that question. I'm so excited. This question is so sweet that if I was asked this question, oh my God. So it will now depend on your field. If you are in the human rights field, you have to leverage on the international community within the human rights. Have you been attending conferences? If yes, during those conferences, do you network with people? Definitely. During those conferences, you must have gotten one or two ideas, knowledge, okay, a contact that you must have used in one way or the other. These are really good examples. If you're in climate change, of course, you've benefited from a couple of conferences organized by maybe UN and maybe external organizations, donor agencies, different organizations to champion the cause. This social media age, it is very easy to get in touch with the international community, with your even with your social media, even with your LinkedIn. So that question is a very good one. And if you're ever asked that kind of question, come on, bring out all your social media skills, how you've interacted with people in your field. If you've joined Facebook groups that address these issues, that's the time to talk about it. If you have attended conferences, that's the time to talk about it. If you have written policy papers and you've published abroad, that's the time to talk about it. Okay. If you have joined a voice online to fight for a cause, that's the time to talk about it, whether it is physical or virtual. That question is a very nice one. Well done, Iraya, for that. And okay. Uh okay. So Jimmy says, I am Jimmy Chimtengo from Malawi. I've had like 3 or 4 people from Malawi today. Oh. My interview is on 14th. I wish you the very best, Jimmy. Tell us something interesting about yourself. Ooh, what a sweet question. If they ask you this kind of question, well, it will depend on you, right? Because Chevening needs an all-rounded individual. Chevening needs somebody who is not just a leader, but a networker, a social person, because you're going to meet a lot of Chevening scholars and they expect you to socialize with them. Chevening needs somebody who is also a very good, you have emotional intelligence, you have social skills. So you can decide that you want to use this opportunity to tell them something outside your career, outside your academics. Oh, when I am not okay, let me use myself as an example. For instance, I am a lawyer, and obviously my career plan was all about law, right? My leadership examples was all about what I have done with my job. And then you ask me to tell you something interesting about myself. I'm not going to tell you anything about law. I'll tell you that that question that you just asked me, I am not just a lawyer. I create content. In fact, I know how to create insightful content from scratch to finish. I have a huge online following on my YouTube channel. In fact, I have more than 10,000 subscribers like this. I do not just create content, I teach. I train people, I mentor people, I coach people. I am very versatile. I cook very well. You can say so many things, but don't be all over the place. Just bring up 2 or 3 very interesting things that you think would add value to the Chevening community. You know why? When you go to the UK as a Chevening scholar, they are going to organize events, and they're going to need volunteers for this event. Somebody that is good with organizing, somebody that is good with if sometimes you could they used to have like baking classes, they used to go for kayaking, they used to go for sightseeing. So if they ask you, tell me something interesting about yourself, and you don't want to talk about your career, you could say something like, I love to travel. In fact, in the past 3 years, I have gone to all the communities in my country just to ensure that I see what my country looks like. I know all the nooks and crannies of my country. I've traveled to this African country. I have gone to this, tourist attraction. And one of the reasons I really want to go to the UK is because I have really heard about the Big Ben and the Small Ben, the London Eye. I can't wait to see these places. Buckingham Palace. Oh my God. That kind of thing. So whatever you tell them you're doing, because when they see that kind of person, they're like, oh, this person is actually going to make a very good Chevening colleague, because this person is going to rally Cheveners around them to go for sightseeing. When I was in London, Cheveners used to go out almost every weekend. I was not that outgoing. And looking back, I'm like, I wish I used to do more. But trust me, Cheveners will go to different places every time. Do you think he was not somebody that was so interested in exploring the city that used to bring Cheveners together? They need that kind of those kind of people. They need them. So whatever skills you think you have that is maybe outside, maybe you want to draw focus away from your career and show them the other side of you. Go ahead. If you like to write, go ahead and tell them how much you like to write and publish. If you own a blog, that's the best opportunity to tell them you own a blog. If you own an NGO, that's the best time to say, oh, I'm actually very passionate about little children, and in my free time when I'm not working, I actually go to take care of little children, especially maybe children with disability. Those are the kind of things you talk about. Oh my God, you guys are asking me very, very interesting questions. I love it. I really do love it. Okay, that was Jimmy's question. Okay, Isioma says, "Hi Kuseme, do you have tips on being bold during your interview?" I always say there should be a balance. Okay, there has to be a balance, because there is a line between being bold, being confident, and being arrogant. Sometimes panelists will not like it if you're overly arrogant. Okay, when you are acting as if you already have the scholarship, when you act as if you've gone to heaven and back. I don't even know how to say it, but what I'm trying to say is there has to be a line between exceeding confidence and boldness and being arrogant. Don't try to be arrogant. Don't try to argue with your panelists. Don't try to talk above them. If they ask you to stop talking, it is time to stop talking. If they ask you to explain further what you mean, it is time to explain further. Don't talk at a very high pace that your panelists cannot keep up, because they have to be taking note, right? Don't also shout, don't scream at your panelists, and don't act like you know too much. If you know too much, you won't be asking to go for master's degree, and you won't be asking for a scholarship. So that's the aspect of not being too arrogant I want you to know about. Let's talk about being confident. Being confident is showing the panelists that you are convinced in what you are saying. You feel like what you are saying is right. You have done your research. Let me tell you, when you have done your research at the tip of your finger, when you have your facts correct, you will be confident in what you are saying. Let me give an instance. Remember at the beginning of this interview, I said that one of your panelists could be a professional in your field. One of your panelists could be a Chevening alumni. And one of your panelists could be an official of the British Council or British High Commission in your country. I remember there was one time they asked me, during my interview, they asked me, so after they asked me what are the challenges in my field that I want to solve. I identified the challenges, and I said, oh, when I come back, I'm going to join this organization to continue to solve the problems in this area. And the person that was a professional in my field said, Kuseme, you already know that these organizations exist. They are already doing the things that you think you want to do. Why don't you just go straight to them, join them to solve this problem? Why do you think you must now go and first get a master's degree before you now come to solve these problems? Arrogance at that point will mean, no, I know what I'm saying. I'm telling you that they're not doing enough. I'm going to go and do and come back, and that's arrogance, right? And at that point, you're trying to make him feel like what he's saying is wrong. He is not wrong. What did I do? I said, you are completely correct. In fact, you are correct, because that's the situation. These organizations are there. They are already working. My work, and for me, I have identified the fact that despite the fact that these organizations are there, these knowledge gaps still exist. And I want to believe that once I am able to get these knowledge gaps and I come back to join this organization, I will be able to improve the work they are doing. I will be able to add better knowledge, better values, develop better policies to help in achieving the goals that these organizations already exist to achieve. So don't go and be fighting your panelists or arguing with your panelists. Get your facts right, get your figures right, get your data right. I always encourage people to use data when talking. You cannot come and say, oh, 90%. No, not even that. You cannot come and say things like, in Malawi, a lot of kids do not go to school. A lot of kids are dropouts. That's why I'm passionate about education. It is good, but it's like you making general statements. You're going to say things like, having conducted in-depth research, I have identified that 25% of children in Malawi, especially in this particular area, maybe in the southeast, in south-south, or in this particular community, are actually school dropouts. And that is because of the fact that they do not have road transport network to connect them to the other communities that actually have schools. Help these projects, and they have been able to help 5% of these kids back to school. Somebody listening to me think I know. Well, I'm just bringing data. So if you did that research, you'll be very confident, and it will not pass off as arrogant, because you know what you're saying. You're giving us data, you're giving us figures, you're giving us research data. So that's how you show confidence. Also maintain eye contact. You have 3 or 4 panelists. Don't focus on one person, because the other panelists will feel neglected. So ensure that as you're speaking to them, you're giving them eye contact intermittently. Look at panelist A, look at panelist B, look at panelist C. Panelists, they are going to introduce themselves to you, and possibly maybe what they do. And maybe if you're talking about, if for instance, there's a professional in your area, in your field, in your panel, among the panelists, and you want to talk about the problem in your area, you look at that professional, you look at him, tell him that, like what you're saying, he can relate more, right? Because he can relate more, that's the time to give him eye contact and see the way he responds. When he starts responding very well, that's the time to look at other panelists and also try to take your information to them and try to convince them. Because sometimes the other panelists are not in your field, they may not know what you're saying, but it is your place to really simplify what you're trying to say to them for them to understand. So eye contact, smile, don't speak too fast, because if you speak too fast, it shows that you are tensed and you are scared, and maybe you don't have your figures right. Speak at a comfortable pace, knowing that your panelist is writing, they are taking notes. Look them in the eye, smile, and if you want to take a break to drink water, just like I want to do right now, take a break, drink water, and just be okay. Your panelists are not there to discredit you. Your panelists are actually impressed with you because you were so good that you were selected for interview. So before you go there, they are already impressed. So just go and tell them your own story, own your story, Do not be scared. Don't cram. Okay. Try to understand what you want to say without having to cram so that you'll be remembering what you had to say. No. But get conversant with what the information you want to share, such that you can be able to share it without being overly tensed. I'm not going to say that you will not be nervous. Even me, like this, I had an interview yesterday. I was overly nervous, guys. So it is not completely possible that you will not be nervous or tensed, but you have to. The thing is, at the beginning you might be tense, but over time you should be able to ease in, especially after the first, second, third questions. All right, I hope I have been able to answer that question, Isioma. Grow with AJ says, how many questions do the panelists normally ask in the interview? The thing is, you cannot put panelists in a box. Some panelists will ask you 4 questions, others will ask you 10 questions. And most times, prepare for the 4 standard questions that you will ask during your essay. But also prepare for questions that they will ask you based on what you have said. For instance, you say, oh, in 2021, I did this project in Malawi, and we went to meet the Ministry of Finance who funded the project and all of that. The panelists can decide to ask you, you talked about the fact that you got a funded project in Malawi. Can you share more information about that project? It is based on what you said. They are going to ask you for more clarification. So questions can come out from what you have already said that will even make it up to 10 questions. But it's definitely going to be around what you have said. I don't think you'll be surprised at all if you have gone through my Chevening interview questions on my channel. You shouldn't be really surprised because they're not going to ask you questions from the moon. They're probably going to ask you questions like, okay, apart from the 4 standard questions, they may ask you different other things like, oh, maybe who is your mentor, who is your career, how do you put this question, who is your inspiration, maybe who is your mentor, whatever. Who do you draw inspiration from in your field? They could ask you things like, why did you select the city that your university is in? What do you like about that city? Or you're going to Manchester, what do you like about Manchester? Anybody that's going to Manchester that will not talk about Manchester United Club, I don't know why you are going there. I will not talk about the fact that you want to watch live matches. I don't know why you are going to Manchester. So don't be overly restricted to academics. They want you to be social as well. So bring in all those football. When I was in England, they were playing Europa Cup. And I used to go and watch match every time England was playing. It was fun. So imagine bringing that kind of thing up. Oh, it's nice. They'll know that, oh, wow, you are not just a very academic minded person, you're also very social. And they need those kind of people. They need highly blended individuals, okay, all rounded individuals. Okay, another question they asked me how I intend to balance competing priorities, considering the fact that the UK master's degree is very hectic, and also as a Chevening scholar, I will have to attend different Chevening events. And how do I intend to balance the competing priorities? So yeah, I think that question usually comes up a lot, and I was able to use examples to answer that question by just telling them that, well, in my entire life, I have really never done one thing at a time, because while I was a student in uni, I was also very actively involved in student politics. I was a class representative, and I was also passing my exams. I was doing moot and mock trials. I was actively involved in student chamber activities. I was able to balance all of this. When it's time for classes, I focus on my classes. When it's time for extracurricular activities, I focus on extracurricular, and I did all of them so well with time management, such a way that I succeeded in all of them. I still graduated very well. I still won awards in the student chambers, in the competitions I attended. So I am used to being able to do different things at the same time by just prioritizing and giving more time to what is most important, and then the rest of the time you allocate it to other parts of your interest. Which other question do I think they used to ask scholars? Questions like, how would you contribute to the Chevening community when you go to the UK and even when you're back? That question is a very important question, because they want to see that they are not just giving you their scholarship as a selfish individual. Everything is not all about you. What are you going to give back to the Chevening community? Look at me now. I finished my program in 2021. This is 2023. I am still doing live sessions for prospective Chevening scholars. I'm giving back to the Chevening community. So they want to know that you are not just self-centered. You're not just focused on your own needs. You also are willing to extend your own knowledge to other people and to also help the Chevening network grow. Okay. Yeah, if I remember other questions I'm going to ask, I'm going to mention them. But I already said if you go to the Chevening playlist, you're going to see all the questions that I have addressed previously. Okay, so Munira says, what do you think about interviews with universities accepted? When you're asked, tell us about yourself, they want you to tell them how you meet the Chevening eligibility criteria. Chevening wants leaders, people that are able to influence other people's decision, people that know how to network, people that have clear-cut career plans, people that have been able to identify challenges in their field, and they know how to solve those challenges. So when you are telling them about yourself, you have to tell them in such a way that you align yourself with those criteria. Okay, it's not a question to go and start narrating your life history. You start telling them that you are from this state, they don't care. You are from this local government, it's not important. You have how many siblings, nobody cares. Your parents are from here, mba, zero. It's not going to give you any score. We want to know, first of all, Chevening needs, in fact, before you're invited for interview, they have seen that you meet the 2 years work requirement, so it's not even needed. Demonstrate to us how the job, all the things you have been doing meets the Chevening leadership requirements, networking requirements, and how you are the ideal candidate to be selected as a Chevening scholar. That's what they want to hear. Okay. When we are done with this live, you can start from the beginning to see exactly how I answered that question, because I started with that question because that's definitely going to be your first question. Okay, Eluid Wandara says, my first 3 universities rejected me, but I have one unconditional and one conditional offer for other 2 universities. That's very good. That's resilience. Okay, if the 3 universities rejected you, but all of a sudden you now have an unconditional offer and a conditional offer, then during your interview, just tell them that you were not able to get into the universities that you selected, but however, you have gotten to admissions from 2 other universities and you want to substitute. That is very easy. It's easier to substitute when they see that you have an offer from this university than when you don't. Eliud says, if I am asked about the courses or universities I choose, should I talk about those who rejected me? Watching you from Kenya. Okay, Eliud, the thing is, when they ask you, why did you choose the universities that you choose and the courses that you choose, you start off by saying, oh, I selected in my application, I selected University of ABC to study XYZ. However, I wasn't able to be offered admissions into this university, but I was able to identify other universities that offered the same course. And I actually do have admissions from this university. That is University of ABC and XYZ. I have an unconditional offer from this university and I have a conditional offer from this university. Now, going back to why I chose this course. I chose this course because you start talking about it. And then you have decided that these subsequent universities that you have gotten admissions for will still give you what you want at the end of the day, because you've gone through the course content and you've seen that they closely align with all the things that the other universities that you previously selected in your application you would have offered you. The good thing is you already have the unconditional offer. So that's like a no-brainer. Okay, you're not going to struggle, because once you tell them that, oh, I do have another university that I have an offer, they will just write it down. Okay, what's the name of the university? They just write it down so that they'll substitute it for you. So yeah. How do you, Irana says, how do you plan to distinguish yourself from the rest of the Chevening scholars? Ah, what a question. Very good question. That is a very good question. When they ask you that kind of question, this is the time for you to now personalize the answer. Who are you? What do you like to do? What is unique about you? For instance, I know that a lot of people belittle their skills that you don't think is anything. You know how to cook? Chevening has cooking classes. In fact, I know that Chevening organizes a lot of events for scholars within the city. And in fact, because I love to cook, and I am from Kenya. I'm going to teach Chevening scholars how to prepare pilau in one of our vocational classes. I heard a Chevening scholar told me that she learned how to bake a cake in one of the Chevening classes, and I am so ready to teach Chevening scholars how to know how to prepare my local dish. I love to play video games. I'm going to try to see how to collaborate with other Chevening scholars to develop a video game to solve this particular policy problem. When the more people play this game, the more information they are going to get. This game is going to be like a platform for people to get information. So I'm going to ensure that I bring my passion, which is playing video games, and I connect with people who are good with video games development, and we come together to make this work. Okay, another thing, how do you plan to be different from Chevening scholars? I love to teach in my spare time, and I also see that a lot of us as Chevening scholars will be going to the UK for the very first time, and I understand how challenging it would be to go to a new country, start a new life, and just get everything going. I know that a lot of people, it will be challenging for a lot of people. And I know that Chevening community is very, very present for scholars. I will be one of that colleague that you can call upon at any time. I would be one of those colleagues that would encourage other scholars to take up private tutorials. We would teach ourselves, we would have private classes, just to ensure that as scholars we are successful together, because we all came in together and we cannot leave any of our scholars behind. I would be that scholar that would be very reliable. I would be that scholar that would relate with everybody around me that I know. And I'll be that scholar that will connect all the Chevening scholars from Malawi, all the Chevening scholars from South Africa. I would be that person. See, guys, these things are not technical. Just think. What is making you different? See, you are not like any other person. If you like, all of you study, if you like, all of you study development studies in University of Sussex, you are still not the same. You have your unique features. Bring it out. You're different. You're special. Okay? So just bring it out. And if you don't know what to say, think again. Look back. What is it that people really like about you? What do people say you really know how to do best? And how are you going to be able to use that thing to help the Chevening community? Go for it. I hope I have answered that question. Happiness says, do we still apply the STAR approach in answering, tell us about yourself? And if so, how do we go about it? Yes, you should apply the STAR approach. For instance, if you're trying to tell them, because I already said that you should, to answer that question, aligning all your skills and aligning yourself to the eligibility requirements of Chevening. Okay, so you say, I consider myself a leader. My name is Kusema Ise, and I am a lawyer. I have been working in the area of dispute resolution for the past 5 years. I consider myself a leader because I usually identify problems. For instance, in 2013, in my work, I was able to identify this particular problem, and I approached the management team. I developed a proposal. We took these steps, we took that steps to solve that problem, and the feedback has been very good. So that's why, and I continue to do this in my day-to-day work, including in my immediate environment. That's why I consider myself a leader. I also consider myself a networker because I've been able to leverage on my network to solve so and so problems. For instance, in my community, there are a lot of people who have dropped out of school. I'm able to connect with them and tell them that this is what you need to do to get these jobs, to apply for jobs and to get hired. That way I was solving the unemployment problem in my community using my network. So I believe that I meet the Chevening requirements for I meet the person specification, the ideal candidate to be a Chevening scholar, because apart from being a leader and being able to leverage on my network, I've also identified the problem in my field that I think that gaining this knowledge would help me meet. And that's just how I can answer that question in less than 5 minutes. You've used the STAR approach to fix yourself into the Chevening ideal candidates criteria. So that's why you should not cram, because if you cram, they will ask you a particular question and you don't know how to answer it. Just know the principles, just know the rules, just know what you have to say. And then when they ask you, depending on how the conversations go, you provide your answer in that way. Okay, I believe I've answered that question. Happiness. I said this session was going to be 1 hour. It is 1:05. I'm definitely closing this session by 1:30 because I have other things to do. I'm going to answer the questions faster now because I see that I have been spending a lot of time. But let me know in the comments if this has been beneficial so far. Let me know if it is useful. Let me know if it is preparing you for your interview, and let me know what other concerns you have. Happiness says, the question on how will you be active after you return from the UK? Do you still need to give examples of your past to explain how you intend to be active in the future? The reason you bring in your past is to demonstrate your capacity, your capability, because sometimes people just say things that they cannot do. But if you say you want to do something and you draw attention to your past of how you have done that thing before, it gives credibility. It makes people trust you better, that if you have done it before, then it's easier for you to do it again than when you have not done it at all. So yes, if you want to bring something from your past just to buttress your point that yes, I have done this before, I can do it again. Yes, you should go for it. It's not a bad idea. Olufunke says, hi Kiteme, I'm Olufunke Oyinola from Nigeria. I have 3 unconditional offers from the University of Leeds. You have 3 unconditional offers. You already achieved this scholar. What are you waiting for? I have 3 unconditional offers from University of Leeds, Leicester, and Derby to study criminal justice and criminology. My interview is 24th March. Aww, all the best to you. Having 3 unconditional offers. Wow, wow, wow. That is amazing. Congratulations. I wish you the very best in your interview. Make sure you let your panelists know that you have the 3 unconditional offers, okay? Banda Farah says, hi Kuseme, could you tell me how you contributed to the Chevening community? Can't you see that I'm still contributing? This live session is a contribution to the Chevening. I mean, people are not Chevening community. Yeah, Chevening community now. And what did you tell them in your interview on how you're going to benefit the Chevening community? Of course, I told them that I was still going to contribute to the Chevening community because even before I became a Chevening scholar, I already started contributing to prospective international students in the UK by introducing Chevening scholarship to them, by introducing other scholarships to them. I will continue to do that, which I still do. Like now, I still do it 2 years later, right? Now, in London, I was going to network with other people, get all, liaise with Chevening scholars in my field from other countries, exchange knowledge, exchange ideas, and see how we can introduce policies that work across the countries in our different fields. I was also going to, socially interact with Chevening scholars, network with them. I must tell you that, guys, as you're listening to me, my closest friends in 2023, should I say 50% of my closest friends, most beneficial network has been from Chevening. Chevening network is not to be used for play. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, that network is everything. You're going to meet people that are going to turn your brothers and sisters. I kid you not. Most of my friends now, the people that if I am in trouble, I can pick my phone and call and say, come to my rescue. Most of them are Chevening scholars. So please, you two also have to show that you're going to be able to benefit other scholars as an individual. You're going to be able to share your knowledge. You're going to be able to share your skills. Whatever knowledge you have from whatever previous experience you have from your previous work, from your country, you're going to bring it to share knowledge and also to help other people within the Chevening community. You're going to be a valuable member of the Chevening network. I know for a fact that I am a valuable member of the Chevening network. I know nobody can take that away from me. I know that. So you have to be able to tell them that as well. Olufunke says, please, are there particular preferences for candidates who have received awards and recognition for what they do? I hear some scholars talk about awards and big recognitions, and that's intimidating. I don't think you should be intimidated, okay? Before you were shortlisted for interview, they saw something in you. Chevening is an organization that recognizes that life is in stages. You would see scholars that are 60 years, 50 years, 40 years, 30 years. An achievement of a scholar that is 40 years cannot be the same achievement of a scholar that is 25 years. Of course, a scholar that is 25 years just got out of school and has just worked for 2 years and then got Chevening scholarship. You don't expect that person to come and say, I have gotten all these awards and awards. And they recognize that. That's why they give scholarship to a blend of individuals. You see the old, the young, the middle class, you see everybody. So I don't think you should be intimidated. I think I felt the same way when I was preparing for my interview, because I saw a lot of people had achieved so much, and I was like, what am I going to do? But the thing is, they understand that you are just starting out, and it is not possible for you to accumulate so many awards and honors if you're just starting out. And then you may do something and you're not recognized. Does that mean that you're not actually doing it? That's why you have to be the one to share your own story. So don't be intimidated. That does not actually determine anything, to be honest. You're telling your own story. They're not comparing you with others. They are judging you based on what you tell them, based on the qualifications they see, based on what you tell them, and they're going to score you like that. And when they are done scoring during the interview, they will take the highest scorers. If they say they are taking 100 people this time and 200 people made high scores, they will maybe lift the scores a bit higher so that they can get the shortlisted candidate. But it's not going to be because you've gotten awards, or it's just going to be, is this person meeting all the requirements of Chevening? Is this person's career plan really outlined? Is this person's challenges really outlined? Does this person have a track record to show that this person can solve these problems or do the things that he or she claims he or she would do? Okay. Eloy says, do Chevening care whether you graduated with second class, lower, or first class? And will they have an academic papers during interview? No academic papers. Chevening does not ask you of your academic qualification, do they? Chevening is a leadership scholarship. And if they say we need 2 years work experience, it means they are shifting their attention from academics. The only reason Chevening wants you to have academic excellence is that they want to know that you can pass a master's degree in UK, because UK master's degree is very hectic, right? So they want to know that you can go through a hectic master's degree in UK and you can graduate successfully within 1 year. That's why they want to know your academic capacity, academic excellence. Otherwise, it is about your leadership qualifications, your leadership skills, your work experience, what you have done. Okay, Isioma says I answered the question. Okay, thank you. What do you want to learn during your master's? You are a successful person, as you already discussed. So why master's or another master's? Exactly. All of you already have master's degree and you want to go back to do master's. You should be answering that question. Don't ask me, because you married that you want to go back to go and do master's. Why? There has to be a reason. Maybe you still identify a knowledge gap. Maybe you see a new technology that is being applied in UK and you want to go study it. See, let me tell you, you can never get enough knowledge, and no knowledge is wasted. Yes, you already had a master's degree. Yes, you already have this knowledge, but no new knowledge is wasted. Knowledge is not constant. Information is not stagnant. Things are revolving every day. We are in the digital age. The way we used to do things 2 years ago is not the same way we do things now. New knowledge is needed. You need to always update your skills. Even to be a good professional, you have to keep on taking professional development. So this is part of your professional development, to sharpen your skills in your career, to update your knowledge, and to get updated information in your field, so that you can go and solve the problems. Because even problems that used to be 5 years ago are not the same problems now. Yes. So you still need that updated knowledge. Even if you have a PhD and you decide that you want to go back and do masters in this particular field, you have the right to do that. Because if you've identified the fact that this knowledge is going to help me, then you should be able to go for it. But yeah, you have to be able to convince them, communicate to them in that way so that they see. All right. Benjamin says, please, I haven't received any response from my university yet, but I will go for my interview on the 8th March. Please, how should I go about it if I am asked about whether I have an offer from university? Oh, you just told them the fact that you have applied to a university and you have been told that feedback time is within a month, and you are still expecting feedback from your university, and you are certain that by the time because Chevening deadline is about between March and 17 July, you get an unconditional offer. So that is not a problem. To be honest, even if you do not have any offer, it's not going to affect the outcome of your interview, because they need unconditional offer much later, not during your interview. They need it after they have actually conditionally selected you as a scholar. So not now. So don't worry, you can still you can get your unconditional offer later. Okay, Munira says very insightful. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Munira, for joining. God's Power says, please, how do I know the main panelist who probably is in my field? Oh, the thing is, they would introduce themselves, okay? They would introduce themselves when you meet them. Oh, my name is Kusame. I work with British High Commission. My name is ABC. I work with so and so, that kind of thing, okay? Don't worry. And if they don't tell you, then it's not important. But based on the kind of questions a particular panelist asks you, you will know if this person is in my field or not. By the time that panelist start asking you technical questions in your field, you already know that this person is in my field. You get? So yeah, but what your aim is to go in there like nobody is in your field. Because if somebody is in your field, it's actually very easy to communicate to them. But if somebody is not in your field, you have to be as simple as possible to communicate what your intentions are, what your motivations are, what the challenges in your field is, so that that person who is not in your field would actually understand. That's the essence. So go in there thinking, everybody don't know what I'm doing. I have to be the one to communicate to them what I'm doing and why it is important. Okay, God's Power. I hope that is clear. Isioma says, thanks, Couscous, for your labor of love. You are welcome. You are very welcome. Olufunke says, thank you so much for your answers, Kuseme. You're amazing. Thank you so much, too, for joining. Lee says, thank you, Couscous, for your contribution and support. When asked about alternative plans, if the Chevening interview does not go through, how best can one respond to this? To be honest, I don't think that this kind of question is to discredit you in any way. You can choose to say that, oh, I really hope to get the Chevening scholarship, but if I am not able to secure the Chevening scholarship this year, I would go back and see what I did not do right, see what I can improve, so that I will submit a stronger application next time to be selected as a scholar. Or you can say things like, I have been saving a little bit, and although I really need a scholarship because it will make things really easier for me to achieve my goals without having to really affect me financially, I was also saving and hope that if I'm not able to secure Chevening, I would probably take from my savings and also get in touch with the university to see if I can access internal funding. The scholarship organization or the panelists are not there to put you in a tight corner. They know that if you're applying for a scholarship, there's a high chance that you also apply for another scholarship. They also know that you have alternative plans. Well, if Chevening cannot allow you to achieve your aim this year, it's either you're going to do something else or you're going to achieve your aim with or without Chevening. So that question is not going to actually be used to discredit you in any way. So just share your plans. Have you applied for other scholarships? You can say that. Have you been saving some money so that you can apply as a self-funded student? You can say that. Are you going to take a break and reapply, as reassess your application and then reapply to see that you have a stronger and better application next time? You can say that as well. Okay, Iriah says, tell us a time when you have to make an unpopular decision. I think this question used to come out too. When they say, tell us a time when you had to make a difficult decision, an unpopular decision, a challenging decision. So yeah, just use experience at work. Maybe you had to do an event and you had to fundraise and it was very difficult and you decided to take from your personal savings. That's a very difficult decision. Maybe you had a different view from your manager and you were very convinced that that of your manager was wrong and you were correct. How did you go about it? Share. Maybe you are a leader and your colleagues did not agree with you. You're a team lead, your colleagues did not agree with you. It was a difficult time. Maybe you had to fire somebody and you really liked this person, but you really had to do it. Share any challenging situation. It could be at work, it could be at your extracurricular, it could be in your personal life. Oh, I had this job. There was a time I had 2 jobs at different cities, and they were both good. They were both what I wanted, and it was a very difficult time for me. I didn't know what to do. Some people were telling me to. The more I asked people what to do, the more confused I was. It was so that is a difficult situation. So how did you decide on what you did, on the decision to take, and how did you do it? So those are just unpopular decision. Could mean a difficult decision. It could be having a different view from every other person. It could be taking a different route from every other person. For instance, Okay, so after I finished school, I got a job with my state government, and a lot of people in my country or in my community already believes that people who work for the state government do not earn a lot of money. But I knew that what was most important for me was to gain the knowledge in this area, and working with this particular agency was going to give me that area. So even when my friends and family were saying that I should take a private job in this particular law firm or in this particular company, I still went ahead to take this other job that paid me less. But I was so convinced because I knew that it was going to give me the knowledge that I needed and it will help me better in the long term. That is an unpopular decision that other people are not happy about, and you're still going ahead to take it. So you see, let me know if I've answered that question, Iraya. Benjamin says, thanks so much, Kuskus. This webinar has been very valuable. So glad to hear. At least it paid off. I'm glad you guys joined and you asked all the questions. I'm really happy. I hope that it is as helpful as you anticipated. And I really wish all of you the best in your interview. Okay, Grow with AJ says, thank you so much for doing this. This is very detailed and valuable. You are a gem. Thank you. Your nice comments are really, really making me happy. Thank you so much. So that's my last question. I've not seen any other question. So we're wrapping up. I want to believe that I have addressed all your concerns. If you have any last minute concerns, just put it down in the chat box. Otherwise, we are going to bring this session to an end because it was supposed to be 1 hour, but it's 1 hour, 20 minutes now. So yes, let me know what you learned in the comments. Thank you, Chikusema. I learned a lot. That's from Janine. Thank you, Janine. Eluid says, is the stipend given by Chevening enough to sustain you in the UK? Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's different for those who have family, right? Because if you are traveling to the UK with your family member, maybe your partner or your kids, of course, the Chevening stipend is just for one person. Now, the London living wage is I think if you go to UKVI websites, you're going to see how much the government proposes you need to show as proof of funds for 1 month. I think it is £1,270 for London. But if you're staying outside London, it's usually around 900 and something. Chevening stipend is usually above that. So yes, if you are alone, it's definitely going to be enough for you. When I was in the UK, I did not work for the first 2 terms because I was doing YouTube. YouTube takes a lot of my time. I was studying and I was doing YouTube. So I couldn't work and I was living on Chevening stipend. You can decide that throughout your time in UK, you're not going to work. Chevening stipend is enough for you. But if you know that you need savings, you need a lot of money, because when you go back to your country, you're going to be spending a lot of money. Your lifestyle is going to change. The house you probably lived in before you traveled, you come back and say, oh, I don't want to live in this house again. And you want to get a bigger apartment. You want to get a better car. You want to live a better life. So your standard of living will automatically raise when you come back to your country. So you have to start saving. So I was saving from my Chevening stipend, and immediately I was able to take up jobs. I worked my ass out just to ensure that I saved enough money so that when I come back to the country, it will not be very difficult to settle in. And trust me, that money really came in handy for me. You don't want to know. That money really came in handy for me. So I would advise you from day one when you enter the UK, because Chevening is going to give you arrival allowance. Arrival allowance would help you buy all your winter jackets, your beddings, everything you need to settle in. When you start receiving your stipend, start saving up. Start saving up every month. If you want to save £100 or £200 from it, save. Because at the end of 12 months, when you look back and see that you've been able to save a lot of money, then you know that if I get back to my country, it will help me settle in the first 3 to 6 months. Trust me, you will not regret it. Take it from me. Okay. Arnold says, Couscous, you're amazing. Thank you for doing this. It is selfless gesture. Thank you. Thank you so much, Arnold, for your kind words. Liz says, thank you so much, Couscous. You have a very lively spirit and evidently a big heart. Oh, thank you so much, Liz. Thank you so much, guys, for joining this session. I really wish you the best. I just prepare. Make sure you prepare. Don't be overly tensed. Okay, whatever calms your spirits down, calm it down. I did an interview with a Chevening scholar that says, he was talking about his interview experience. That was the last live session I did on the channel. So if you go to the channel, you check the live session I did. It was a Chevening scholar sharing his interview experience. He also shared his interview questions. Okay, he was telling me how that interview morning, that going to the gym calms him down. So he went to the gym. to calm himself down. And when he went into his panel interview, in order to break the ice, he started sharing things about his country, what the government was doing in his country, and how he actually went to the gym to calm his nerves, and they were all smiling. That way, you are easing in, okay? You just break the ice, smile, do something that will make you not so tense. These people want you. That's why they invited you for interview. If you are not good enough, they wouldn't have invited you. So they are not there to shoot you in the leg. They are only there to bring out what you have more inside of you. So don't be scared. Prayer is part of it. Pray as if the outcome of your interview depends on your prayer, and study as if the outcome of your interview depends on your preparation. Okay, there is always a God factor in everything. Do not leave God out of it. And to be honest, even if you go for the interview, you're giving your best and you are not selected, just know that you did your part. And trust me, this experience alone, you have gained so much lessons that is going to help you in every other opportunity that you're applying for. So even if you do all the things you have to do, and at the end of the day you are not shortlisted, first of all, if you now want to apply for Chevening scholarship again, you're going to submit a far better application. Secondly, it's going to change your mindset about a lot of things you do, how you do things, how you write applications, how you interview is going to change, and you're going to take a lot of lessons out of it. Okay, so don't feel discouraged. Don't feel discouraged if at the end of the day you are not selected. There are people who apply multiple times, and then maybe they get selected at the third or fourth time. Other people just move on to achieve their goals through other means. But what I want you to know is that this experience alone has helped you in every other aspect of your life, because it has helped you with discipline. Imagine all the essays you had to write just to apply. It has helped you with hard work. You put in all the work to apply to 3 universities. That is work. And then you wrote such outstanding essays that you're already shortlisted for interview. You are preparing for interview. You are joining this live session. You're watching YouTube. Do you know what that has done to your character? It has polished you. It has put you, you now know that if you want to get something, it all is within your power, and you're doing everything you can to do it. You're going to transfer that attitude to your work. You're going to transfer it to your daily life. So it is not a waste of time, okay? Even though I wish you all of you the best, I know that there are some people that will still come back and say, "Oh, Couscous, I am sorry. I feel so terrible. I did not get the scholarship." And I'm saying to you, take heart ahead of time and know that you have different routes to your destination. Okay, there are different routes to your destination. God's power says, thanks much, Couscous. For those in Nigeria, please let's connect from here so we can share some info based on logistics. Thanks. Okay. You can go to Facebook and you see there are a lot of groups on Chevening application, Chevening applicants 2023, Chevening applicants 2022. You can join those groups, and so that you can interact together, because in this kind of thing you need support. You need a lot of support. Okay, let guys also try to apply the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship. Yes, I also talked about that scholarship on my channel. The Hungarian government has a scholarship for their universities. So yes, you can. If you go through the scholarship playlist on my channel, you see a lot of scholarships that you can apply for other than Chevening. Okay, some of them are within the UK, some of them are other countries as well, including I even have scholarship for South Korea, Hungary, Germany, Japan. I have a lot of scholarships I've shared on my channel. Okay. So, yes, guys, I have to stop here now. We have been together for 1 hour, 28 minutes. I hope that this was helpful. Please share this video. If you know any scholars that was not able to join the session, share the video to them, because it will help them. Okay. All right. Let me know the outcome of your interview. Come back to this live and share the outcome of your interview. Come and tell me how many panel members, how many questions they ask you. In fact, come and drop your questions, because it will help other people. Next year, when people are coming to watch, they will see the questions that they ask, so they will use it to prepare. At least you will help other people. Okay. All right. I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye. Bye, 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 bye. Bye, 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 bye. Subscribe. Oh, you did not subscribe since Louis. No, I'm suspecting you. You have to subscribe. Oh. You have to subscribe. All right, everyone. Bye. You people are not telling me bye in this chat box. Why? Are you people fighting me? Tell me bye now. I bet I should get out. Tell me bye. I'm waiting for your bye. If you don't tell me bye, I'm not leaving. All right. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Bye, bye. Bye, Liz. Bye, Wandera. Bye, God's power. Bye, Olufunke. All right. Bye, Janine. Okay. Bye, Olufunke. We're ending this live.